Welcome to the Revolution Show, where we inform, educate, and give an interactive platform for youths to develop themselves and the nation as a whole. I am your host, Joyce Njoki, and in this segment we'll be looking at whether the electoral process in Kenya is actually free and fair. Stay tuned as we look into that. But first, let's take a look at the news headlines. Anxiety reigns as President Uhuru Kenyatta keeps the nation in suspense over cabinet nominees. Countrywide blackout prompts debate over whether Kenya Power should compensate electricity consumers for losses incurred. On to sports news. SportsPesa cancels all local sports sponsorships in response to 35% tax imposition on gambling revenues. Back to the show with more news from our reporter Hassan Hassan.
Following the annulment of the August 8th presidential elections by the Supreme Court that cited massive irregularities, fraud, and an election that was not conducted in accordance with the Constitution, the IEBC was mandated to conduct fresh elections in 60 days. But Kenyans are asking, is this the same body that is expected to conduct a free and fair elections in this country? And do we have a system that can put in place a free and fair elections?
Ukiwa na pesa ndio unaweza kwa hapo, usiwe na pesa hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Example kama hii election yenye ilikuwa hii mwezi wa 8 ilikuwa ni pesa ilikuwa na juu, kama opposition walikuwa wanajaribu wapite in democratically, lakini au wenye wako juu, wenye wako kwa serikali, wao wanatumia ile ujanja ya kupita. Ndio maana hata ulikuwa unaona 3/4 of Kenya hawakuwa wamefurahi na hii election. Saa hii ni mtoto wa Uhuru ako hapo, ni Uhuru ako hapo. Inamaanisha ikikuja tena hiyo system, the same system, hata mtoto yake bado ataweka tu kwa hiyo nini, kwa as a president, na hiyo system wanatumia. Juu hii kitu inaonekana wazi, juu hata raundi walikuwa wameiba tu wazi. Unajua ile kitambo walikuwa wanajificha, lakini hii ni wazi, hata class 4 anajua hii si election. Ndio maana unaona saa hii wamekaa na wanajua wamepita, wamesworn in already, lakini hata watu wafurahi juu ya hiyo kitu.
For my opinion, for the election was a fair, free and credible election, of which it goes so smoothly, and I don't think there was some kind of corruption or those things. I think for the Supreme Court, they did their job, so I think it was free, fair.
So what do you think about the electoral system in Kenya?
The electoral system in Kenya is just free and fair. It's good, but the problem is there's always two sides of a coin. There's the other one which is saying it's cool, the other one is saying it's not cool. Now, but as for me, I know it's cool, it's free and fair, because everything when you go to register, what you do, everything is fair. Yeah. Now the complaints about it's not fair, it's not that's for the other people. But the other people, that's why I say a coin has got two sides. Yeah. There are those people who are complaining, the others are not complaining. Yes. Yeah.
Over the years, elections in Kenya have had legitimacy questions surrounding them. This has caused unrest and civil disturbances in many parts of the country.
Thank you. My name is Biar Dio Kujang. I'm the Vice Chair of the Electoral Commission of Daystar University 2017-2018. On the question of whether the Electoral Commission or Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission of Kenya could give free, fair elections, I think in my opinion, yes. But the challenge is the Commission is not given political support and independence they deserve. In terms of law, they have very good law to conduct free, fair and credible elections, but as long as the politicians don't give them that conducive atmosphere to actually work independently, it will always remain a challenge. And I think that is my opinion, and the Commission will, I have no doubt, it can give credible relations to the Kenyan people.
In this year's elections, the body mandated to conduct elections in Kenya, the Independent Boundaries and Electoral Commission, has instituted a mechanism to guard the integrity of the votes by training staff on digital security and use of electronic voter kits. But still, Kenya is still in political turmoil. The two coalitions are still facing off, and the courts have failed to give direction. In Kenya, are we experiencing democracy or the decline of democracy itself? It is safe, therefore, to conclude that Kenya has a long way to go in establishing a well-trusted, reliable and impartial electoral system that guarantees every Kenyan's individual rights and freedoms. Reporting for The Revolution, my name is Hassan.
Welcome back, my dear viewers. With me is an intriguing guest, so to say. His name is Edwin Kigole. He's a political analyst and also a student president at Moi University. So welcome, Mr. Kigole.
You're most welcome. Thank you so much.
So ever since Kenya became an independent state, do you think there has been democracy in the electoral process?
Well, when you talk about the issue of democracy in Kenya, you're talking about electoral justice, electoral fairness, you're talking about independent institutions, and the question that would come to your mind would be, are our institutions independent by word of mouth, or indeed they are independent? If we look at the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission as we have it right now, you will note that there have been integrity questions posed on this body. And way before, we've had disputed presidential elections, not the entire elections, but the presidential aspect of the elections. And we've had, in a number of instances, the incumbents trying to involve themselves in the electoral matters in a way that would tilt the vote in their favor. It is documented, it is in history, that a few electoral episodes have been free and fair, and many of them have been marred with a lot of vote reading, vote buying, ballot stuffing, and all those things. But since independence, the question of electoral fairness has been so elusive, because many citizens say they vote but their voice is not heard. They cast their ballots but it doesn't count, but rather it is those people at the top of the electoral commissions that we have had since independence who determine where the vote finally goes, whether it is in your favor or not.
Do you think political parties, in relation to what you mentioned, have a role to play in actually promoting the democratic part of it in terms of elections?
Political parties have got a fundamental role to play in terms of electoral justice. And when you look at the political party primaries that we've had in this great country, we've had people who come to take part in the primaries, and at the end of the road, the political parties single-handedly picks candidates to fly its flag in the main elections. And just in 2017, when we were having the political party primaries being conducted, we had a number of political parties activities being marred with violence and intimidation of voters, and the interference with the ballots themselves. If you look at what was happening, like for the case of ODM, even the Jubilee Party, we've had candidates who are crying foul of being sidelined or being shortchanged in the case of tallying the ballots and getting the final winner. And if political parties can get it right at the primaries level, and then we can get it right at the national level. Political parties have been reduced to being the carrier bags for some figureheads. All right. Some people think political parties are their own, and therefore, when you come to live with my terms. And therefore, what we need to do is to create a free and fair political party system so that anybody has a fair chance of rising to the topmost hierarchy.
You've mentioned that some of the political parties, or rather most of them, are represented by figureheads, and you have to work with the terms of that political party if you want to be affiliated with it. So can we actually say that the country is in the hands of a few individuals?
If you look at ODM, the party, Orange Democratic Movement, it is led by Raila Odinga. You cannot mention ODM without connecting it to Raila Odinga. You cannot mention Jubilee Party without having the president at the top and the deputy coming in second. And therefore, what the deputy or the president and Raila Odinga says in their political parties, it is almost equal to being law. And the general expectation is that whatever instructions they give, you follow them to the latter. Therefore, yes, the question of political parties having figureheads is true, but luckily it's fading away. Because now people are being more liberal, are being independent in mind. Right now they can think, you can deny somebody a party ticket, but this person can go ahead and win as an independent candidate.
Is being an independent candidate the answer to succeed if you actually want to get in the political field?
The answer on independent candidates is pegged on your closeness with the people on the ground. Because just in the most recent years, if you are not in a political party, then you forget. But right now, if your ties with the people are so close that you can win whether or not you're in a political party, then you're almost secure.
Personally, do you think as Kenyans or in Kenya, will we ever get to a point of legitimate democracy?
Well, before United States of America became what it is, they had to go through a moment of turmoil politically for them now to realize that they were getting it wrong. They needed to chart a different path. Kenya has had episodes of electoral violence. Kenya has had episodes of electoral interference by the political class. Kenya has suffered a scourge of vote rigging that would propel the country into ethnic violence as a result of underlying ethnic tensions. And as a young Kenyan, I fundamentally hold the view that there is coming a day when we will live to tell the story of electoral malpractices. We must reject politics that seeks to divide us along our ethnic lines, that seeks to profile us along our religious beliefs, that seeks to marginalize regions, so that we have a democratic process that works for everyone, not those at the top.
Finalize with giving advice to that young Kenyan, that young person who wants to get into politics, but they don't know how to go about it.
We are moving away from the culture of money politics into a culture of your ability to deliver and your ability to convince the electorate that you're the best candidate for the position. I want to challenge my fellow young people, fellow young men and women of this great republic, that it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter whether you are a Luo or a Kikuyu or a Luya or a Kamba or a Mijikend of this great country. You can become whoever you want as long as you're willing to work hard, as long as you're focused, as long as you're determined, as long as your goals are set and the right environment and atmosphere is created for the advancement of all, not just some. And therefore, I believe that all of these things can be attained, can be achieved. The greatest democracy right now in the world that we have, they have always come from somewhere. And Kenya, we've been somewhere. And now we must set our sights so high that we must get ourselves from these clutches of pettiness in politics, the politics that cannot develop us.
So thank you very much, Edwin Kigoli, for sharing so much. And my dear viewers, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you've learned so much from this interview. Stay tuned.
What if all of us came together to do something incredible? An anthem made from all of us.
There's a feeling for me and you. You can do.
Here's to the us in every tasker.
Yo, mambo vipi? Mimi naitwa Hassan Omar aka Mr. Incredible, and guess what? It's about to get more incredible kwa sababu gani? Today I want to talk about something ambayo inajirepeat after every 5 years. Yes, you guessed it right, the elections. And kumekuwa na hii swali each and every day watu tunajiuliza, do you think kwamba the Kenyan elections are free and fair? And personally mimi nadhani kwamba they are free and fair kwa sababu unajua IEBC, that is the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission, wanafanya kazi ya maana sana. Unajua wanajipanga, wana make sure kwamba kila county zile ndio maboxes zimefika, watu wanapiga kura vizuri. Lakini that's my own opinion, sijui watu wengine wanasema nini. And right about now nataka nimuulize brother man fulani, mambo vipi bro?
Poa sana manzi.
Unaitwa nani bro?
Naitwa Regan.
Regan, jina la pili ni gani?
Naitwa John Regan.
Safi. So you got the question ama nikuulize tena?
Hebu niulize tena nipate.
Do you think kwamba the electoral process in Kenya is free and fair?
Okay. Kile ambacho naweza sema ni kwamba tangu tuanze kufanya elections Kenya.
Yeah.
Hakujawahi kuwa na free and fair elections.
Tangu 1963
except in 2002. Hiyo ndio nasema ilikuwa free and fair. The rest zimekuwa selections.
And why do you say it was free and fair to 2002?
In 2002 kulikuwa na ile ambience, hakukuwa na mtu hakukuwa na ubishi. Unaona? Ilikuwa free, ilikuwa sawa, tukakubali kibaki tosha. But kuanzia hapo sasa the subsequent, kwanza 2007 ilikuwa na itilafu, 2013 ikakuwa na itilafu, hata judges walisema juzi 2017 ilikuwa na shida. Kwa hivyo wewe sema kwamba imekuwa free and fair.
Okay.
Yes.
Safi, asante sana kwa maoni yako mzee.
Shukran.
The test of legitimate democracy is on the line, and many Kenyans are left wondering where the real problem comes from. Finalizing with a quote by Paul Wellston, "Politics is not about power." I was your host, Joyce Njoki.